Hello folks, I got a special treat for you. So everybody's talking about the Z30, how sleek design it is. In fact, I'm just gonna take it off the tripod. We're gonna take a look at it. Now, I've already shown this quite a bit, but I have the 18 to 140 millimeter lens on here. But no EVF. I have the ceramic mic on there. We're going to test it out with and without. It's a pretty good and reliable microphone built into it. I did not get the rabbit hair or the tripod to go with it for a creator's kit. But it's an excellent camera. Does a lot of things. I love the manual focus. And of course, I love the flipping screen. And you open it up, you can turn it, view things sideways, down, up above, face it forward, look at it. So I'm going to be showing you some things that I found out that besides not having a flash, whatever, mainly it's a great camera. It does overheat if I put it on HDMI or if I have it in the office, but for the most of, it's a great camera. If I turn it on, you're now seeing that I'm using the ZVE10 on it, so now you can see it better. Now, one thing I want to describe, which bugs me, and as I'm holding this right here, okay, let me bring it up here. Okay, so you see me in the picture. I'm kind of like portrait mode, but you notice you don't see a volume or anything. Now I can hit the exposure compensation and I can deal with that. That's no problem. In fact, I'll just leave it like that, or go back down one more time. Okay. Shutter speed, you can do that. You can do the aperture, you can't because it's all in the lens right here. So you can see it move up and down. Let me try to get closer. So it's pretty good, but shows the battery. I'm in manual mode. That's touch autofocus, so I can go like that, but it stays in pretty good autofocus all the time. So hit it again, off, but you notice the box is still on me. So wherever I move, the box is there. I can go like position focus point, so that's a different one. Touch, and then off. And then I just hit center. If not, I just turn it off, turn it back on, and as you can see, I'm in focus. So that's the one part I like about this camera, okay? The problem is now, when I turn it to the back, I can see my volume and a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, the autofocus, it has an hour and 57 minutes, 58 minutes left to record, the white balance, the ISO, it's on airplane mode. So that's a neat thing. But the thing that bugs me is when I turn it this way, okay, everything is there, but when I turn it all the way to the front, it's not there. And that's the problem that I don't like. The other thing a lot of people don't talk about is, let's say if you're carrying it like this, you have a tendency of touching the buttons in the back. So you'd be pressing or messing something up. So I got it on movie mode. I can put it in camera. Your autofocus, your function button, your wheel dial, manufacturer, your magnifier, your demagnifier, menu, and then play. Great camera. So anyhow, that's what I want to discuss today. But the thing is, they try to compare it to, let's say, the ZVE10, okay? Or they try to, let's see if I can get it closer. Here's a close-up shot. How's that? Put it there. Let's see if it's in focus. If I can get my fingers working. But anyhow, they like to compare it to the ZVE10. Well, what if we do something different? And I'm going to bring this camera in, and this is the predecessor. It preceded the Z30. This is the Z50. Now, the only difference is, and I'll take this off the tripod also so you can see it. Now I have the kit, or the 28mm on here. And I also have a small rig cage. This one has an EVF, but it also has a flash. I just updated the firmware, so now it has almost the same autofocusing as the Z30. And if the only other difference is it's not a flippy screen, it's a tilt screen. So some people like that better, especially when you want to vlog. But you still have that problem. When you're holding it, you could be hitting these buttons too. So you have to be careful. That's why I got this. So if I am vlogging, I can hold it with the handle. And as you can see, it does a pretty good job. Turn it on, and you can see the screen on. Okay, let me focus on something. So with this, you do see, and it's focusing. There we go. See? Focus on the Z30. I might be a little bit too close for a 28mm. Yeah, it's trying to focus. I might be too close. But anyhow, it's still a good camera. And if I hit the menu, and we can go into, let's say, they have all the same things on the menu. Scroll down. Flicker, D-lighting, focus mode. So if I go into focus mode now, they have single, continuous, full-time, manual focus, which was like before. But then area mode. But you notice it doesn't have anything with animals or anything like that. So that's what they can't update. But it's still a great camera. It's almost like the Z30. The only difference is this one has better focusing. And if I put on the menu here, let's go to there, scroll down. So they have electronic VR. All right. Look at the difference. Animals, people. That's the only thing that the Z30 has more than the Z50. But if I take pictures or video, you will never tell the difference. So I can take a video, which I will. Look how clear that is. Go around here, see the bike. I go here, coffee cup, bike, coffee cup. Let's try to get something more. Wedding picture, dish, I don't know. There we go, we can do that. Well, it's supposed to focus anyway. There we go. So it's still a little bit slow, still a good camera, and for the price point, you can't beat it. So what we're going to do is test the sound and picture quality on video, comparing the Z50, which is the predecessor to the Z30. So without further ado, let's do a little bit more, a couple of tests. So here's the Z50, predecessor to the Z30. Ceramic mic on it. Now, I'm using the volume that's built into the camera. I'm turning it around on the Z50. It has the small rig cage on there for better stability. Now, what this camera has, I think, has better VR than Z50. Vibration reduction, whatever, or it's kind of like a steady shot for the Sony. But most of the lenses on Nikon have that. So if the camera doesn't have it, the lens should take over. And as you can see, this is staying in focus, and this is the Z50. Now, I am going to use the ceramic mic to test the sound. Okay. Now, my voice should be a little bit different. So if I turn the turntable the other way, this way it tells me I have the mic on. So I'm turning it clockwise now. I see a little focus breathing on it, but if I click on here, there we go. So I think I have it set for a cat or for an animal. So what I'm going to do is change the focus again to something else. Okay, I'm back again. So this lens is a 28mm f2.8. It's not a pancake, but still, it's a small lens. It's a full frame, so it'll give me about a 42 for the APS-C. And as I'm turning it, now I have a different focus on there, so it should stay in focus from now on. Notice that when it looks at the LCD screen on the mirror, yeah, you see a little focus breathing, and this is on the Z30. If I turn this way, it should focus. It should. There we go. Yeah, it's doing a pretty good job now. Just got to get the right focus in there. So now I'm going to go back to the onboard mic. You heard pretty much on the ceramic. Now here's the onboard mic. So this is the camera. It should be a little bit louder. Can you tell the difference? So it looks pretty good, doesn't it? So this is at 1/60th the shutter speed, f2.8. The ISO is at auto, and it's at 1600. And this is manual mode. 4K at 30. It's doing very good. So now I'm going to turn the tables and have the Z50 look at the Z30. So this is a Z50. I'm using the voice built into the sound. And what I am going to do, okay, what would I do? I think I was trying to up the flash, but I can't because I got the microphone on top. So let me fix that. Okay, so here's the Z30. This is the ceramic mic hooked up in the Z50. Same thing, manual mode, 1/60th, 2.8 aperture, but the ISO on this one is 2000 instead of 1600. Everything else is the same. So if I turn it, no, get down. Cat wants to see what's going on. No, Dusty, no. Down, there we go, good boy. So it stays in pretty good focus, if you notice. I just updated the firmware. It's doing an excellent job. So the reason why it's clockwise on here is because I got the ceramic mic on there. Now I'm going to unhook it. Now this is the mic built into the camera. How does it sound? Let me just bring it a little bit like that. There we go. Got my manual turntable right here. But you see, everything's in focus. I can move it back a little bit, and that way you can get the most of the camera. So the picture quality is still the same. Now I think you get a little bit more crop, I believe, on this camera, on the Z50, but still, it's good. And what I like about it is it has a flash on this camera, and it has an EVF. So if I put my hand in front, then the LCD screen blinks. You know, if I put my eye at the EVF, I take it apart. Now, of course, it doesn't have a flippy screen, but it does have a tilt screen, which is useful. Now, I can put it forward, but it goes downward because the flash is on top. And if I was vlogging, I would hold it by the right hand and be filming this. So anyway, here's a quick review on both cameras. They're excellent. So if you decide to go with the Z30, it has a few more features, especially in autofocusing and a couple other things, but the Z50 is a pretty good camera also. And it's cheaper, has a flash and EVF. So the body is about the same, they feel the same. The buttons are almost the same, but still, it's a good buy, whatever you pick. The Z30 is never overheated. Oh, I'll take that back. The Z50 is never overheated. Z30 has overheated. So, and that's only when I had it hooked up with HDMI. But anyhow, how does it sound? Now I'm going to put back the ceramic mic. There's it in. There we go. Okay, the ceramic mic is back in. Does it sound better? Should have a little bit more bass to it. And so I see the camera's pretty good. Everything in focus. So you've seen it at 28 millimeters. What do you think? Okay, here we are. So this is the Z30. And what you're looking at, well, I'm using the Z30. What you're looking at is the Z50. So I'm scrolling around, walking around. I do believe it's the same thing. I don't think there's, I think the stabilization is in the lens, if there is any. I don't know. 28 millimeters probably has no stabilization. But does it look smoother? It does look sharper. It doesn't go out of focus. It's staying in focus. That's the difference. And if I back up, it does a pretty good job on the ZV10 on the focusing. And look at the ISO. As I get closer, it's now 100. And if I move back, the ISO goes to 200, 250. So it compensates pretty good. So there's the ZV10. So what do you think? The Z30 does a pretty good job. And I'll do a scroll around the house. So here's the DVD collection. And here's my dog, Buddy. How you doing, Buddy? Yeah. He needs a haircut. You need a haircut. He's kind of camera shy. Either that or he's looking for me and he doesn't know I'm behind him. So this does a pretty good job. Tracking. It's pretty stable. It's not that heavy. It's heavier than the ZV10. But still, what do you think? I got it on vivid color. See, he's looking at that. And there's Dusty. This is all from the Z30. And of course, here's Wanda. Look how sharp she is. And there's Buddy. And there's the cat. So, this is what I'm using. I'm using the Sony EV10. This is being recorded on the Z50. And this is about the Z50 against the Z30. And I'll just pan around. So I got vibration reduction on. This is a 28 millimeter f2.8. So I'm moving around. Should hold it by the handle, it's better. Gives him a steadier shot. But this camera does not have any in-body stabilization. There we go, in focus. Okay, now I'm going to do with the Z30. So here's the Z30 onboard mic. I'm showing off the cameras. 28 millimeter also. Scrolling around. Does a pretty good job on focusing. It's at aperture 5, f5. Does a pretty good job. There's the cat. There's Wanda. The tracks are pretty good. She's staying in focus. Now she's ready to go through the doggy door. There she goes. So how does this sound? This sounds pretty good? Or do you like the harmonic better? And we'll just finish it with Dusty. So this is just a video on the difference between the Z50 and the Z30. What do you think? Can you tell the difference? Okay, so here's Dusty. This is the Z50. I have autofocus off, but if I touch it, it's now on. See? Look how clear she is. Or he is, I should say. And if I scroll around, so to show you different parts of the house, it's pretty smooth. So, you can do this, scroll around. There's my Doug body. There's Wanda. There she is. What are you doing, Wanda? She says, I know you're up to something. Says, you're probably filming me again. So you can take a look at her hair, how shiny it is. This is a 28 millimeter though. And there's Buddy. He does not like the camera at all. Okay, this is Z50 again at f5, aperture 5. So a lot of things should stay in focus. Just moving around. Get close to Buddy. He wants to go to bed now. There's my grandfather clock. There's the DVDs. There's the dining room. There's the ZV10. So this is the Z50. What do you think? Okay, so now this is the onboard mic. 28mm still. So when I have the VR on, there's a crop. This is 4K 30. What do you think? Is it worth it? So this is a little bit heavier than the Z30, but still, it's a good camera. There's Dusty, right in my crosshairs. Okay, there's one thing also I have to mention. So I already showed you about the tilt screen going down. So if you have a tripod, you can't see the screen. I mean, with the rig, the other reason why I got the rig, you can put it on the side. They do have ones where it's kind of like a bar where you can have it hold. But the other reason why I grabbed it was because of this. That way I don't need the tripod. And plus, when I'm taking pictures or even videoing, have it like that. Now, what I didn't show you was I like putting the mic like this. The reason why is I get better sound while I'm talking to it. A lot of people don't like to have their voices recorded, so if I'm recording someone, I like using the Rode wireless mic. That way it's clearer. It's you can put it on the person, it'll be recorded on the camera. But if I'm doing a two-way, I got a splitter where one can go to the mic and then the other one can go to the Rode wireless mic. And I just have it, the receiver on there. As I didn't show you, this is the flash. So I just push that, the flash comes up, and it's above the cage. And the main problem with the Z50, same thing with the Z5, Z62, Z72, Z6, Z7, the 30-minute 4K time limit. I don't think there's a time limit for 1080p or high definition, but when it comes to 4K, there is a time limit. So this camera, Z30, does not have any time limit for the Nikon. There's only two cameras that don't have a time limit, the Z9 and the Z30. That makes a lot of sense. Now, my Z62 will overheat, but the Z72 overheats faster than the Z62. And if you're in a cold climate, you should have no problem. So I don't understand why they can, in the 30-minute time limit, remove it. But I can understand some companies says, well, the technology then is not the same now. We just have a better product now on the Z9, Z30. This still overheats, but only if I have it in an office area, where it's warm. And this is the warmest room in the house. So it could be, let's say 60 degrees in the house, for an example, and that's cold for your Celsius people. And here, it'd be about 68. There's an 8-degree performance. So right now it's 65. It's 60 in the house. It's 60. It's almost 66 in here right now. And if I want to get a little bit warmer, I got 4 computers on here. So I can do 3 more computers and I'll be nice and toasty at 70 degrees. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Also, I talked a little bit about the microphone. So it'll sound much better if you have it pointing here. If you're filming kids or something like that, if you want to get the activity in front of the camera, then you point the microphone the other way. But I failed to mention this, is like if I'm taking a video, I'm usually looking at the LCD screen. The other thing I want to suggest is when you're videoing, I would rather use a GoPro or something, put it on a hat. That way, whatever I'm looking at, it stays in the picture. If you notice at the beginning of this video, as I was showing the LCD, I had it either below the camera or to the side. And when I had it to the side, it wasn't not in focus. I'm sorry about that. You know, I keep making mistakes, but I just want to point that out. The other thing is on the Z30, I had it on AFF instead of autofocus continuous. So I didn't have it matched with the Z50. The main difference on the autofocusing, I still had to keep pressing this. So I put it at F5 and it stayed better, but still it went out of focus. So the focusing is much better on this. So there's plus and minus to each camera. They say this is cheaper than the Z50. I think they're about the same price, but there's many advantages that I like about this camera, but I still like the EVF and the flash. So if they had a tilty screen with the Z50, with all the inside stuff with no time limit, this is the camera to get. So if they come out with, let's say, the Z60 or the 70 or whatever, or maybe even the Z80, okay? So if they do come out with the Z8 and they come out with an APS-C Z80, there you go. Content creators, Z80 for the, with the EVF and the flash. Of course, not many people are using the flash anymore. They figure the compensation exposure or exposure compensation should handle it, and the ISO and stuff. So if you notice that when I also put it at aperture f5, you saw a little bit more noise, especially on the Z50. But anyhow, that's my 2 cents. That's the only basic difference that I know of the cameras. It still does a great job. I use this as my puppy cam. Love it. And then, of course, I use my microphone right here for, when I'm recording my videos and stuff. So, thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, please give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for any upcoming videos. In fact, you don't have to hit it anymore. You just click on it, it's automatically notify you. And then you can click on, the subscription, and then you can take it off or whatever. But any questions, just write in the comments below. If you have any more ideas or anything else you'd like to see, let me know and I'll be willing to do it. So, as always, stay safe, keep smiling. Until next time, goodbye.